this is my vlog for my second performance of Genderism and Guys and Dolls. So throughout the process as a group, I think that we all improved with our characterisation through research and knowing the storyline of Guys and Dolls better, which helped us to develop our characters, especially mine being Agatha, because I did a lot of research into the mission band and I found out that the mission band is kind of a very important religion for people, and especially for Agatha in the story, that the mission band and her place in the mission band is extremely important, and it's a place that feels like home to her. And so throughout Guys and Dolls, I really wanted to show how much she had a passion for that. So in the times where I was coming on singing like Follow the Fold, I really wanted to have an open posture, a smart and neat posture, to show that I'm, you know, very uptight and neat, because I'm a member of the mission band, and so I feel like that's the persona and the posture that she would have, would be very sort of up there, and you know, and having the drum really helped for that as well, because I was able to actually drum the sort of tune to Follow the Fold, and it kind of just all came together. And I really wanted to make those moments where, even when I was just passing through the stage, make that moment memorable in that time, to make it really show to the audience how important this is to Agatha. And as I developed Agatha's character even more and interpreted how I wanted her to be, I was able to let myself go. I was able to really get into that character and pretty much develop a few things of myself, because when I researched into Agatha, there were some things that I couldn't find out, and I thought, well, I'm not just gonna not do it. I'm gonna still have a big character, even if it means that I'm taking some parts of Agatha which I've seen from the script and just making it more dramatic and maybe more how I want it to be, but still keeping the core of Agatha, so her mission band and how important that is for her as well. So that was really good, and I felt that I definitely got into the mission band role, and I felt like I was a lot more relaxed when I knew kind of how I wanted Agatha to be. And in both performances I felt relaxed. I felt better in my second performance because, as I spoke about before, I had an issue with the hat, and you wouldn't be surprised, but when you are missing a piece of costume, it can actually throw you off a little bit, because if you're missing one thing, you kind of feel like you're standing out a bit. And because I couldn't find a hat that fitted me, and there wasn't really time for me to go out and get one that day because the performance was kind of nearing, I thought, well, I'll just improvise for now and kind of act as if I have got a hat, you know, and just keep going. But it did actually make it quite difficult, because when I was doing crap shooter scenes and dances and like Luck Be a Lady and things like that, and I was sort of trying to portray this male persona, and obviously the transition from being this kind of mission girl, this innocent mission girl, to being a manly man that, you know, likes gambling, whatever, the hat kind of is a big thing. So I really, for the second performance, I really wanted to get that hat, so I went out and I bought one. I found a perfect one at a charity shop, which I just had to take off this little jewel off the front, because I think it was like originally a woman's hat, but you couldn't actually tell, and underneath it just looked like a man's hat. And that actually really helped with the performance, because I just felt like I don't know, like I could really be a man, and I felt like I had the posture well for a man as well. And I made sure that in things like Good Old Reliable Nathan, when we're walking on, that I really sort of marched with my arms and made sort of a really good manly persona for myself, because I really wanted to show that transition of Agatha and then a crap shooter. I didn't want to make the crap shooter like Agatha and Agatha like the crap shooter, because they're different characters, and I had to sort of really focus on that, which was good. So prior to the second performance, we actually had more time to work on some scenes. So Evita worked on some of her singing scenes, Dan and Caitlin worked some on their dancing scenes. We all worked on some songs like Look Be a Lady, because the harmonies were a little bit off on the first performance. It wasn't like bad off, but there was just a bit of confusion between the harmonies and the group, and so that we needed to kind of go over that, just so that the harmonies could hopefully be better for the second performance. We were pretty much just improving anything that we felt needed to be improved, just so that the second performance was even better than the first. When we went through Adelaide's Lamont, I was walking in for that scene, and we were having me walking on as like a streetwalker. So I came on with a bag, and she's doing this like crazy song about sort of raging around about whatnot, and I walk in with this bag, and she basically comes up to me and shakes me, and I drop the bag, and I'm like, because literally she's just come up to me in the middle of the street like this crazy woman singing about her life, and I'm like, whoa. And then we had me walking up to her, and she was singing while sort of swaying me and awkwardly hugging me. And we had a really funny scene where I had my back facing to the audience. She was hugging me like this, and I was sort of going, help me, which is really funny, because we completely added those bits in for the second performance, just because we thought we might as well play around with what we can play around with. And just make it more funny, and that definitely made it a lot more funny. Another thing was that changed in the second performance was Bushel and a Peck. So in Bushel and a Peck, we had toy guns and little sheriff badges, which again helped because it just made us feel more like cowgirls, and it just kind of fitted the character more. And so I think that we all got into our role more, because it was strange how, like, as soon as we had the guns, the dance just came together. Like, it seemed a lot more like real because we had the guns, and because it just made us all be a lot more cowgirlish character. It's funny how props can do that, but they can. So that was great. We changed a few moves as well, just with the guns, so sort of just having our guns up and down, to the front, to the side, that way, things like that, just to make it more cowgirlish, and to basically make it quite funny and show the real character as well. So I'd say on the second performance there was a much bigger audience than there was on the first. The first performance there was a smaller audience, which was fine. I don't really mind audience size. I think that it doesn't really matter. You should still perform just as well, regardless of if there's a theatre full of people or if there's a theatre not full of people. It doesn't really matter. But it was nice having a bigger audience on the second performance, because I feel like we all felt a lot more prepared by then, because we'd sorted the harmonies and the scenes and any bits that needed to be sorted, and we were all sort of trying to make it look neater backstage, because we had an issue with people kind of just throwing their stuff on the floor, and so we really wanted to make that like a lot neater, because it was kind of like stressing everyone out, because even if you didn't have much scene changes, if you're backstage and there's like a pile of clothes and you're all trying to like grab them on before your next scene, it gets really stressful. So yeah, it did get quite stressful backstage at times, but I felt like it didn't need to. People just got a bit stressed with it, but actually like it was fine. Like everyone got on the right time, pretty much, and everyone was doing the right thing. Everyone had a really good accent as well throughout, which our parents mentioned to me that they thought it was really good. The New Yorker accent, pretty much everyone kept it up really well. And it's funny to think back at to the start when we were all working on our New York accents with David, that actually now we have really quite good strong accents, and everyone it looked as if we just had that accent, like we were completely natural with it, and no one sort of went into other accents, which we had in the past, where people were kind of just switching from both like different accents because they were getting used to it and that. But yeah, and also my second performance, which was of Genderism again. And Genderism was really good again. We cut a few scenes in Genderism, because the 21st century scene where me and Ryan came in at the end, Adele didn't think that was really working, so we still had the dinner scene, but not the bit where we came in at the end, which was fine. I didn't mind that. We also cut a tampon bouquet scene where I sort of came in and was like, oh, this is a tampon, the best bit of the show, but apparently that wasn't needed either. But the scenes were really funny, and the audience were really interactive. I think the quiz at the start, which we had Louise doing a quiz on asking them like trick questions about genderism and things, got the audience involved, which is really good, because obviously audience participation is really important. Yeah, the whole thing went well. In the makeup scene, I ended up changing my prop, because I was putting blusher on and we were all competing with each other, but the blusher wasn't showing with the light, so I actually ended up changing to have mascara instead, so that it was more prominent. But the whole thing went really well. It was just a really good performance. I feel like the whole audience really enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it. It was very fun, and the scenes were quite ad-libby, which meant that we were able to kind of develop our characters. There was no sort of strict guidelines to how we're supposed to be on stage. It was very sort of relaxed, and I really liked that, which is really good. So yeah, that's my evaluation of the last two performances. So yeah.